Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Verde Arbusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome. If you're new here, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe on one video or a bunch of videos, either or, but that's how you get everything coming up in your recommended in your feed. Is the more you interact with the channel. It's good for me and the algorithm. It's good for you. You'll get the recommended notifications as they come up. And if you would be so kind as to hit the notification bell and select all, or you get squat. That's not my doing. I didn't make it up. That's just how YouTube likes it. All or... So, on that cheery note, thank you once again for being here. We're going to have some music in the background. This is my birthday choice video. I'm going to play some music here. What do we got? All right. So, I'm going to let this play in the background until about the two-minute mark. And then that's where the song that I want to hear comes in. Or I want you guys to hear. And this is a candidate for the Aronmix Marathon. And this one is from the 16th of February. So it's right around the Valentine's Day mix of 2020, last year. Getting to be almost 2 years now. The Chica number 2. And CHICA, that's one of the programs that he uses. Or that's a one of the the technical things that he's using in there. Chica, CHICA. It's not the artist, it's one of the technical things. This is again, so this is a candidate for the Aronmix. And what we're going to talk about is the sharing versus talking. The difference between sharing and talking. And I'm also going to explain about my own lifeboat. And it's different from Captain Tommy's lifeboat, but it's amounts to being the same thing, I think. He started his lifeboat for a little different reason, but I have mine. So I'm going to explain it to you in a little bit. So, where are we?
Do you think I'm joking?
Thank you, Mr. DJ. Thank you, Aaron, of Aronmix fame. And I would like to give the credit to the music, credit for the music to my good friend Aaron, spelled Aron. And I've said this before, he's an official DJ. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He has a service that he goes to. He used to go to the record stores and buy, he still has a bunch of records, 12-inch singles and all that stuff. He digitized those. He doesn't really play them anymore. He has a service that he goes to, an official DJ service. He pays a fee to join, and then each one of them that he downloads is another additional fee. So the music for this has been paid for by Aaron. I think it's important to mention that, that, people get wherever they get the music from, and you look for royalty-free sources. I still get hit with a copyright claim, and if I was monetized, they would still get the music. So, I don't have a superior right to not copyright claim, but I don't get a copyright strike, Whereas with commercial music, I couldn't play it, or other music that, that's royalty free. It's not Aronmix. It's not hot. It's not fresh. It's not DJ quality. I don't know how to better say it than that. It's not hot and fresh and DJ quality. I like that. My army of 1,000 manic DJs needs good quality stuff to work on. All right. Okay, let me readjust here for a minute. Okay, I'm back. All right, so today's video is, as I said, the difference between sharing and talking. This is coming out later than my birthday, but this was the one that I had done intended to be for my birthday, or I wrote this out intending it to be done as a video on my birthday. The website says it's a 3-minute read. I assure you it's more than a 3-minute read. And so I wanted to explore some personal stuff to me that was maybe like it's a precursor to what I did right before the dedication to the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel, which is dedicated to Schumann resonances and, at this point, associated atmospheric electromagnetics. So this video, there was 2 that I had made around the same time. The last one that I had done, which was dated on the 4th, and then this one is dated on the 1st. I'm doing these 2 in conjunction with the 2 loves of my life, Pamela and Jacqueline. And Pamela is getting really close to graduating, we'll just say. She's done a lot of course work. She's definitely a very highly ranking crew member, and there's some things that apparently only I can help with. And so we're going to celebrate birthday for her coming up soon, and congratulations as well. So, this video, like I said, it's uh, intended to be part of a bigger personal offering from me. Um, I like doing videos. Like I said, this is me as a DJ, doing these videos with music. I couldn't be a DJ and read my own stuff over the air like I do here with these videos. I do when I do the videos, the regular videos for the content. I'm giving of myself. I'm there. I want to be seen on the camera. I want people to know it's me. It's coming from me. This is my stuff. This is my work. This is my writing, and that's important. But the rest of everything is geared toward educating you, giving, like learning, true hardcore learning of very technical stuff. And so I, as a person, don't celebrate much. I work a lot, and I work, quite honestly, I work to keep myself distracted from the fact that, my family is all gone over to the other side, and the friends I grew up with through, basically a lot of through mixing and matching chemicals, drugs, and speedballing, some of the things that, I grew up with were the older boys in the neighborhood showing me how to do a speedball. And maybe not me doing it, but showing me how to do it, and at 13, 14, these were the boys in the neighborhood. And this is suburbia. This is Connecticut. This is middle class. This is not the slums. That was the next town over. I mean, they weren't, the high rises, two high rises, does not a slum make. But you get the point. It's all relative. And a lot of the friends that I grew up with in junior high, they went to college prep, paid high school. And even them, a lot of them got kicked out and went back to public education because they got kicked out. St. Bernard's was one of them. So as a personal thank you to my people, my subs, and being a crew member, I wanted to make this a little bit more personal. There's always the element of the Schumann resonances, electromagnetics. It's an electromagnetic universe, and it's important. So I link it in there somewhere, but I wanted this to be more from me, my heart, specifically, particularly me, and not my research. Okay, so with that, this is going to be a birthday present from me to you. And I have said before, I'm been working on a trend of talking about discussing subjects and material that is relevant to people's everyday life. That's not necessarily human resonances, but things like the touch screen, informing people on the touch screen and other technological stuff around us that is definitely, atmospheric electromagnetics, or you as a circuit, you as an electric circuit are integrated into the electronic thing, such as the touch screen. So there's a lot of technical stuff I have experience with that I want to bring out into the public for you to see and benefit from, hopefully in some way. And let me also offer this, that this video is intended to be as a birthday, gift from me to you. But I am still planning on doing the Aronmix marathon hours, couple hours of Aronmix and stuff. And so that requires some preparation, and that requires some preparation work on my part. And so I have my donation bin out. If you would please kindly, every dollar that you give me as a donation helps me on my second job to become not just the second job, but to take the place of the first job. So as you support me doing this, I can dedicate my full time to human resonances and atmospheric electromagnetics and teaching you more about the touch screen and how to save your battery life and all kinds of wonderful stuff. I've been moving a lot of interesting content to Patreon, going there first because I have an active subscriber base on Patreon and they keep me going. And so it doesn't take much, $5 a month pledge, and you're in the door. And I can guarantee you, if you don't renew the next month, there is more than enough stuff there. Patreon, what's over there right now, that will take you more than a month to read. So even if you just spend $5 just to get in the door and you go over there and see what there is way more than your $5 worth and way more than you can reasonably read in a month. I assure you that. Because within that month, I will have posted some more stuff that'll take you that much more time to get through. My phone's buzzing. Let me see which one of my ladies, this is. Okay, all right. So I sort of lost my place, but I was at a stopping point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play music in a little bit. And then after that, when I come back, I am going to explain what the lifeboat would be to me. You know, not Captain Tommy's lifeboat, but my own lifeboat. And so that was something that my guides had said to me, and that's where the kind of the genesis of dedicating my time to the Schumann resonances as a platform, if you will. And so by platform, I mean not just, YouTube and Facebook, but all the rest of the stuff that I signed up for, the social media that I could link together and technically, I have technical skills, and so I could broadcast. I know stuff about stuff. I'll just say that. I know enough to be a threat. I'll just put it that way. Did I just say that word? Oh, a fret? Yeah, someone would be fretting. Yes, they would be fretting. And so I'm gonna play some music, and I've got like 7 minutes, I think, 6:06 to 12:34. And so we're going to play that, like I said, and then I'm going to come back and explain more about the lifeboat and what that is and what that meant to me, and the explanation. So that I'm not sure how long that'll take. I'm going to go off script on this. I gave the basic description there, which you can read it, and I'm not going to bother reading, but I'm just going to give you the whole story. And I think that may be more entertaining. I don't know. At any rate, let's get off into some music here.
you clap your hands. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. If you really, really, really love house music, let me see you clap your hands. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Come on. Oh, yes. Come on. House music. Come on. House music. House music all night long. House music. House music. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, yes. House music. House. I love my house. I love my house. House. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Can you feel it? If you really, really, really love house music, let me see you clap your hands. If you really, really, really love house music, let me see you clap your hands, yeah. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. If you really, really, really love house music, let me see you clap your hands. If you really, really, really love house music, let me see you clap your hands.
Okay, onward and upward. Got to remember to turn my microphone on. Oh, good golly. And again, I want to thank Jacqueline and Pamela. You are wonderful. You are my family. In addition to the rest of the Wages World family, he's expanded that out. Mark Pyers, Tommy Scoville. There's a growing alliance of the family that's not just family, that's a crew member. And quite honestly, I think more highly of the crew members than family members because I don't have a good experience with family myself, but I do have a good experience being on work crews. I'm a worker myself. I'm a crew member, and I'm here for the long haul, give or take. It's been long, but there's still a little bit of a haul left. And so I want to thank my two wonderful friends for being here. In addition to the rest of the 10, the Verde's terrific 10. Bradley is high on that list. Arizona Raven, Mimi, Charlene, Jacqueline, and Bonnie. I haven't heard from Bonnie in a while, and I hope Bonnie's well. She's on there. She's an honorary member. Jackie, Julie, David, they're on there. They're honorary members. They've been there. In the studio, I mentioned this. The microphone, the mixing board in the studio is dedicated to Bonnie and Jackie and David, who helped pay for it to get this wonderful sound that of my wonderful lilting voice. Okay, so onward and upward. All right. So basically, the lifeboat. Tommy, Captain Tommy Scoville, who is he has his channel, the Lifeboat. He renamed it the Lifeboat. He has his channel, and he does his dedicated to recovery, addiction recovery, all the whole realm, including weight loss, like he doesn't exclude them, people with all kinds of addiction. So I've been over there. I like his channel. I recommend his channel. He does a wonderful thing. Wages had put him on the map, and he has his 4,000 hours, and now he's going to wrestle with the monetization, and good luck with that. Better you than me. I got my 4,000 hours like a year ago, I think, 9 months ago at least. I'm not monetizing. I decided early on I wasn't monetizing. I'm still not, so that's why I have my donations bin out. That's why I need your help. I PayPal, Venmo, I get GoFundMe, Go F me. Yeah, I've gotten money on all of them. Thank you. Except Venmo. I haven't gotten money on Venmo yet. So please, send me money on Venmo. Okay, so go check out Captain Tommy's channel, The Lifeboat. That is not this. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you a story of my own lifeboat. Okay, so get your popcorn ready. All right. So I had been, I explained, and I'm going to go back a little ways because I think this is relevant to talk about this. And I haven't really dedicated, I think, a video to talking about this, kind of where I was at. But Eagle, all right. So I was working there, the bar. I had stopped drinking in 2012. January 2012 was my last drink. So from that point, and I'm gonna, I think, go into discussing what led up to my going into recovery, to my my recovery from alcoholism. And so that's a story I'm going to go into at some point, but I will just kind of skip to the chase and say the obsession was removed from me. No longer have a desire to drink. There was just this thing that was presented to me that was incontrovertible. It's the best way to say it. It was incontrovertible. There's some people will know what I mean when I say this, the conviction of the heart. Your heart became convicted, and there was no fighting it anymore. There was no more running. I knew my last run had my last race was run. That was it. I was done at that point. And that was in January. That wasn't necessarily my last drink, but from that point, that was the point I no longer had the obsession to drink. So my last drink had happened before that. So I marked my sobriety date from when the obsession to drink was lifted. Okay, so at that point, my higher power a year later found me a job at the bar. And so not having a desire to drink, working around alcohol really wasn't that difficult. I had come into the bar kind of before that socially to play pool. And that's all I did was I just played pool and I just drank ginger ale, and I had a social life with the pool players who accepted me. I'm decent, you know. So I would win some, lose a lot more, but it was just part of the fun, and we just had a social life through that. So that club moved locations. At the new location in 2013, I started working there. So from 2013 to 2018, I worked at this bar here that I still love. I still work at part time, occasionally. I go in there, volunteer sometime, you know, meaning I work and not getting paid for it. Just because I love the place. I love Mikey, and he just gave me a chance when no one else would at a time when I needed it. There's not a better way to put it than that. So I had worked for Mikey at the bar as the owner. He was the manager at the new place. Now he's the owner of at the old place. Now he's the owner at the new place. So he gave me a chance working there full time, basically as the cleaning guy, 7 days a week, and then a bar back a number of days a week. The not drinking was not the difficult part. It was the becoming a human and the personalities that were involved without drinking. And I couldn't run. I couldn't run to a drink. And so there was a lot of confrontation that I had to work through. And Mikey was there as my mentor. Wow. I get choked up saying this. He was a more than just a mentor. He was more like a father than I had as a father. He was a father that I never had, and he worked with me through a lot of the personality issues I had. He would say things, for example, like, if you're considerate of other people and you ask them to please move, they will not have a problem with moving for you getting out of the way. But if you cop an attitude with people like like you're somehow more right than they are and you need to get through and you push them out of the way, they are not going to respond well to that. So he said, why don't you try doing that and see if you can get through the crowd a little bit easier, a little quicker? Wouldn't you know it? It worked. One of the best times being the barback that I had relative to having to get through the crowd was when I was just about to tap someone on the shoulder to pardon me, when one of the regulars that knew me, knew I was working. He tapped the guy for me and he pointed and said, let him get through. I can't tell you what a difference that makes when you have people on your side, people helping you in the crowd. And so that took some doing. It took me 5 years, honestly, literally, to go from being a savage to being a gentleman. And I mean that in every sense of the word. And it was a great gift, I believe, that Mikey gave me, of learning how to make your way through a crowd where people will help you instead of get in your way. And I have a lot of fun stories about that, of just being a happy, friendly person in the bar rather than a shithead. There's not a better way to put it. And that was an immense learning experience I had from Mikey, who just is an amazing person. He's an old soul. He's been around for a while. I can guarantee you that. So I wound up becoming a gentleman, really truly becoming a man, through that job, through him, through having a mentor that listened and worked with me and heard what I had to say. And there's a great debt of gratitude I have to him for that, for molding me into a real human, a man. So largely I stayed there to help Mikey because I believed in him, just out of dedication to him and what I had become. I basically learned how to work with, be one of, be a part of, to be a worker among workers, as the expression is. So, as a result of that, as being a good person, when I didn't drink, didn't get drunk, blackout, and all the other stuff I did when I drank. So, getting my life back, a life back at a bar, of all places, the irony of that, the place theoretically where I lost a lot of my life, I wound up getting it back through the love and care of the owner, essentially, and the people around me who were not alcoholics, but who are just good, decent, kind people, like most people are. And so I, somewhere in there, I had started doing a garden. I have pictures on occasionally one of the videos somewhere in there. I've had shown pictures of, uh, not necessarily in YouTube so much, but on Facebook. I've posted them all over my more personal stuff. And on one of the community posts, I actually did post a picture of the garden in downtown Providence. So it's a memorial garden that I started like the first year we had our Pride celebration. There was a pit where there was a tree, and instead of it being a pit, filling it in with dirt, I said, well, I'm going to put some plants in there and make it look pretty. And then, so even if it gets stepped on, the plants will, they do whatever they do. I put like mint and things that it's okay. If you step on it, it's okay. It'll survive. And daylilies and some, stuff that was growing outdoors already. So at that point, my stepmom Ellen was still alive, and so I had imported a bunch of stuff from Connecticut into, downtown Providence as a kind of sign of hope. Outdoor plants are growing; they're going to keep growing, and even if you kind of step on them, they'll, they're hardy, for the zone. And so that was the idea, that I would plant things that if they got trampled on, it would be okay. It's not going to break my heart, but there would be something there. And so from that first one, at that point, I just developed all the other 5 boxes on the road. So now they all have little, kind of edging on it, and they all look very pretty. And it's a memorial garden. They're all individual little plots with different plants that I have sunk in some rooted green growing thing on behalf of someone who's passed on. So each box there is dedicated to a person. The first one I made, obviously, it's to my mom. Then was my stepmom, right? And she passed on. And then my sister Holly, she's got a box. And Mark, the manager, who I did not like at all, the drunken manager who just made people's life miserable. Yeah, drunken manager gets a box too, and sunflowers. Oh, and Ricky's mom, the bartender Ricky, his mom passed on. She gets a box too. Ricky is God's bartender. He is like grandma in a, like he's just that way. He just like everyone loves Ricky. When he came to the bar, he brought a bunch of people with him. The other place fired him because he got too old. And then Ricky, who's just the most sweetest guy in the world, had a bunch of people who knew him for years, and he pulled their clientele with him. They still kind of go over there, but not as much. And the problem was the bar that fired him, they went over to like the next district in downtown. And so like they don't have nearly the people there, and stuff changed. So, Ricky's back downtown where he should be, and the clients are still downtown. And, sometimes you fire the wrong people, it bites you in the ass, and whatever, they had him, they didn't want him. Anyway, all right, so I'm off the track. So Ricky's mom gets a box. All right, so, at the first Pride, like I said, I filled that in, and I just kind of just spread plants all over Snow Street downtown. And it's a wonderful thing to see. Largely, the town doesn't mess with it. Largely, the Bumblebee Beautification Committee doesn't mess with it. Thank goodness. Someone at one point said, "Oh, you should tell someone in the news." I'm like, "Don't you dare. Let this be an anonymous good deed that only the people here know about. Don't you dare tell anyone." If I see it in a newspaper report somewhere, I will be so pissed off at you and I will know right where to come to. And I will give you a piece of my mind if this ever gets out and anyone in the town, the city knows about it and it's public information. You know, if they come to Snow Street, they'll see it. They'll think maybe the town is doing it. They'll leave it alone. It's fine. Don't give it any spotlight or anything, I tell people. You know, it's a memorial garden. You know, the people that are there, the regulars at this place, this place here that I still love, they know it, right? So, as the like I said, like basically 6 years, seven almost at this point. You know, basically the people that are there that knew me then, they still love me because I have a presence right there in downtown. You know, and even more so because I have sunflowers. And who doesn't love sunflowers? And if that's not you, I don't care. I don't want to talk with anyone that doesn't love sunflowers. What's a sunflower ever done to you? Nothing. It just sits there and smiles. It just smiles and brightens up your day, damn it. Who doesn't want who doesn't want to have their day fucking brightened up? Not me. Sunflowers just want to be your friend. That's all, damn it. Don't mess with the fucking sunflowers. And yes, I have had some of the regulars chase off people who were not nice to the flowers and picked them or did whatever, and they chased them off. And believe me, yeah, someone's coming with you with a glass, and yeah, you better run. Thank you, Cliff, by the way. Okay, so I worked at the bar until basically May 2018, and I had since at that point I was no longer bar back for. I had started out when we first opened. I was a bar back 5 days a week, and then it went down to 4 days, and then it went down to three, and then it went down to two, and then it went down to one. But we're talking about 3 years. That eventually got down to one day, and they didn't want to fire me as the bar back, even though I'm kind of a little bit on the slow side, um, because I knew it and I had seniority and, you make a good amount of money on a Saturday, but oh my God, it was killing me. I literally couldn't be all the hours of the bar back and then clean after that. And especially on an event night where we would have 170 people in the bar, that one solid thing, and that's a packed like no, I couldn't keep being no, I couldn't do that. So for the last 2 years roughly, I was just a cleaner every day. That's 7 days a week. So that's easier to work with. It was a set schedule, but sometimes those Saturdays were 5 hour cleaning days, depending on what the event was, depending. Oh, the difference between a bar and a nightclub is that a bar has a license to serve liquor, and that's it. The nightclub has an entertainment license, which allows you to do live entertainments, such as have a DJ, such as have a dance party, such as have jello dancing, such as the KY Lube wrestling that they did, the tie 'em up events, the stuff with the ones where they did the foam party with the soap, like that wasn't too bad. There's like the soap everywhere. Like okay, that's good, But all right. So, but the rest of them, the confetti at New Year's, little bits of confetti that they get soaked in alcohol, and it'd be like it would just be stuck to the floor. Oh, the new like literally, it would take me 3 hours to mop the floor. That's not doing anything else. You know, mop it, the whole floor, and then you got to dump out the bucket, fill it up again, and then you have to redo it again, and then dump it out, and then it's your third time is the charm where you hopefully got everything up. So I couldn't do that every day. So 2018, at that point, I had reached my done point with cleaning a bar every day. It wasn't because of the owner, like a lot, a lot of people have that problem. It might have been a little because of the work itself, being there every day. Right? That was the biggest part of it. The work itself, and Monday it's not too bad. There wasn't like anyone in on Monday. The drunken manager worked Monday. That's like, between like Saturday and Monday, it evens out to a reasonable amount, like all right, but still You know, you got to be there every day. And I just, you know, the politics of the place aside, I'm not going into, you know, because a lot of that was with the drunken manager who's dead now. So I don't have to, you know, things have changed. Um, you know, but it was basically I was burned out. You know, I just was burned out. And so at that point, I left the bar in May of 2018 to go live in a tent in the woods, which I did for about a year, roughly a year. Um, and the really bad days of the winter, I had a friend who he's the guy, my coworker now, the person I'm working with now, but he would let me sleep in, you know, on his couch, basically in the really bad days. But in the mean, you know, for the most part, I had a tent outside in the woods. And there were places during the day I would go to kind of sleep, and you know, like it's just you find a way. Um, so I had reached a point where I was kind of, I can't say dropped out of society, but I just wanted to find a place where I didn't have to have the same responsibility, I'll just say. And I mean, I'm part of it was finding space to meditate, you know, to be at one with nature, to be at one with uh, just things that aren't out to use me, you know, the trees, being at one with the trees. And I'm also going to say this. I had, by this time, I had been with the UDV, which is the Uneo do Vegetal. So 2016, I had took Vegetal from 2016 to 2018. So it's ayahuasca. So at that point, I had gone through some changes of myself. My heart center opened. A lot of things changed. A lot of things moved internally for me. And I was at the point that I really needed to reassess my direction in life. So, as a result of the couple years, you know, it wasn't every month. They have, you know, every sessions every other month, but it was regular. There was a number of sessions I had done in the 2 years, and I don't regret them. As a group, I would do it again, but it served its purpose. So I had dealt with the death of a lot of people, dealt with a lot of my problems, and so as a result of, you know, all of this, at 2018, I went into the woods to like it was my monastery, you know. And I explained to Alex, we were talking about going to a monastery. He had talked about going to a monastery, and I said the woods is your monastery. No matter where you are, there. No matter where you go, there you are. You can't ever escape yourself. If everyone you meet is full of shit and everyone you meet is an asshole, maybe it's time to look in the mirror. You know, I don't know. I can't answer that for anyone else. But if you're at that point of life thinking that it's a whole planet full of assholes, you know, you might want to include yourself in that as well. You know, and that's part of the first thing that needs to happen is the spiritual growth. You know, is finding out what part of the problem I am in this, in my problems with all of everything. What part am I the problem in my problem? There's not another way to put that. So it was made clear to me at this point when it was time to go on a sabbatical that the last lesson in life that I had to do, I've done a lot of great work. The last lesson I had to learn in 2018 was how to love myself. Like that was it. And so when it was presented to me, the last thing you need to do is learn to love yourself. My response was, is there something else I can do instead? And they said, no, that'll be tough enough for you. There isn't anything else you need to do at this point except learn how to love yourself. So 2019 rolls around. I'm still learning that. And what happens is I start working for this woman here, doing the property management. I have a legitimate job now. after a year and some change in the woods, occasionally working for this woman, occasionally working for her to allow me to have the roof over my head. Like, all right. So for various reasons, I was told I got to come out of the tent in the woods. 2019, you need to start being ready. And so May, June, July rolls around. I'm now inside. July 2019. I'm kind of on Facebook, but not really. Everyone is dead at this point. Pretty much everyone. CJ was still alive, but the majority of people they're gone. I don't have much holding me here in society. And that was one of the reasons I go out to the tent in the woods so that I can kind of be just with myself and not be burdened and not be a burden to anyone else. So I am coming back into society, and I'm discussing issues with my friend. And part of the reason I went out into the tent in the woods was to maintain a vow of silence. I don't talk about this that much, but this would be the applicable time to talk about the vow of silence and why in 2018 I was fed up and just decided to go out in the woods. My guides said to me, "You've done well as it is. Talking with humans is difficult. If you want to take a vow of silence, maybe the best place to do it is to go in the woods and treat that as a spiritual retreat." So the biggest reason for going out into the woods was to practice the vow of silence. Now, let me say this. If you're in with a group of like-minded people, you could have a vow of silence because they're not going to fuck with you. They're not going to actively mess you up as the rest of the humans will. So your tribe that is sympathetic to your vow of silence, they'll allow you a latitude, have a piece of paper there, you have a notepad, a little name tag or a lanyard that says, "Hi, my name is, I'm taking a vow of silence." "Hi, I'm taking a vow of silence." So these are things my guide had said to me that you're not, if you want to take a vow of silence, these are the protocol to use. Have a notepad, write everything down, and do that. Stick with your your conviction. If talking is that laborious and that difficult for you with people, they understood. Right? Talking with humans is a whole other experience, and trying to figure out what people are saying is a whole art form unto itself that a lot of people, kind of get decently okay by. No one really masters the language, especially not the spoken language thing. So it was difficult. So my guide said, you can, with these things in mind, do a vow of silence. Emergencies, you can, you can raise your voice in emergency, but like necessary, only necessary things. Like, for example, if you're getting your coffee, stick to just the coffee order and nothing else. Say thank you, bring some joy into people's lives. It's part of what the vow of silence was, that I'm being silent on the shit part of the language, and I am speaking up on the happy part of the language. And so saying thank you, ways of being grateful to people, this has to come with that as well too. It's not just a vow of silence, but what are you communicating? How are you communicating? These are all things that came up. And so during this time, I wrote a bunch of stuff about the art of language. I posted them on Patreon, and I posted them on my website. The art of the language, the tricorta of the language, and all of that stuff. And so I was starting to, at this point, do a bunch of writing. And I knew, and again, we're talking about June, July 2019, into my birthday, October of 2019, doing a lot of, writing on uh, you see it now. It's the latest, most the stuff that's not the Schumann resonances, the stuff that's clearly another type of stuff. That is what I had started writing, and it's all dated. You'll see somewhere in there where it's dated 2019. So at that point, I was getting the skeleton ready, an outline ready for doing some videos. So in 2019, I was kind of told that I was going to have to start making video. So to start getting some material ready. And so I had a bunch of material that was not Schumann resonances related, that was more of the lines of, I don't know, spiritual development, maybe philosophy, but I, again, website is posted a bunch of it, Patreon has posted a bunch of it. Um, so the people that are familiar with what I've written, you know what I'm talking about. It's clearly not Schumann resonances, and even the stuff that is based on Saturn, even that's still not Schumann resonances. It's not Saturn's Schumann resonances. It's not Earth's Schumann resonances, and it's not a moon of Saturn's Schumann resonances. It's just about Saturn, and actually from the Cassini mission. A lot of that's from the, based on the information from Cassini, but whatever. Not to digress. So as I'm doing a bunch of, I had done a few test videos. One of them was on dimensionality, one of the first videos I had done. That was starting to break away from doing the other much earlier stuff of the sky watching videos and the clouds and just, kind of nebulous stuff. I wasn't as directed then as I am now. But it was basically, I had a plan for the video content based on what I was doing in WordPress at the time, which was called Giants in the Land. Has to do with, obviously giants in the land. In the Bible, it says there were giants in the land in those days and blah, blah, blah. So what exactly does the phrase giants in the land mean? So this is what we were going to evaluate and examine. This is something I've had a passion for ever since I saw that phrase. There were giants in the land in those days, and it talks about in Genesis the part where the sons of God took on to the daughters of man wives and all this kind of stuff, and that just totally fascinates me to no end. So basically in 2019, I was told that my guides told me, you got a lot of stuff you got to write. And it was also made very clear to me that I could not, how do I say this? I spend a lot of time in meditation, right? I went out to the woods to meditate. So a person of high spiritual development, that what I have worked for, what I've gotten, the spiritual development of whatever the principles that I've earned, that I've worked for, those are not mine to keep. I need to give those away, right? So I can't just hold on to the spiritual pathway and principles and all this that I've learned for myself and expect that good stuff is going to come of that. It's an act of being selfish to not release this stuff to people and let you choose to accept it or not. But that's what was told to me. Anything that spiritual growth that I have that I acknowledge didn't come from me, I have to share that. I have to make that public to you because it is not mine to hold on to. And so that's one of the main reasons why I was being directed into having a YouTube channel. To start, and at that point it was Vert Green. And that was going to be, green. All right. So as I posted some more stuff and did some more research and whatever, I'm writing, and I need a place, I got to start putting this stuff out there. And so I'm making a few videos. I'm not happy with them, not happy with the layout of the room. I had deleted a bunch of videos that I just didn't like. I didn't I wasn't aesthetically happy with them. I didn't like the sound of it. They didn't sound good. I was kind of cardboard at the time. And it was rough me wanting to be on these videos, and it showed. I looked like an old man, as my friend Vicky said. And that was not the look I was going for. That was not a good, you know, good popular look, I thought. It's bad enough the material is highly complicated that you don't want to look like an old man explaining this or whatever, but I just didn't like the vibe of what it had brought out in her. It's just her opinion is true, but I wasn't comfortable with it myself. So if I wasn't comfortable with it myself and then I had an adverse reaction from someone, it just really kind of sealed the deal. And at that point, I was like, like, let me readdress this. Let me come at this a little bit later. And that's an important lesson to learn. One of those spiritual lessons that if something isn't working right now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea. It just means it's not the right time for it. So if the bad timing doesn't convince you it's a bad idea, that's a good thing. So, you have to sometimes consult with your guides or the stars or whatever to give yourself a good time frame of when to do something. Like, I don't think anyone can really answer that for you. People can help you make that decision, but you really have to know in yourself the right time where something should, be like, now is the time to bring it up. Kind of like the birthday thing, like, now is the time to go into this long-winded story that's not at all related to the Schumann resonances, but a bunch of you watching this will have been here for a while, and so hopefully you'll be curious to hear more of my backstory that I haven't talked about before, or maybe just in pieces here and there. So this is where we start getting into, at this point, writing stuff, and I'm kind of going back on Facebook and talking with people of like the ascension based, kind of things, and I'm loosely in July of 2019. I'm loosely, kind of doing research on other stuff. I've always been interested in the planet and everything, and I've been a subscriber of Suspicious Observers since like 2016, I think. So for a number of years, ham, Dutch since. So I've always been interested in the Earth. I've always been interested in the planet, the solar system, So as we start getting into the ascension thing, you hear more about the Schumann resonances. I'm doing research. I'm doing research on that and all the telluric currents and a lot of other stuff, but also talking with people in general about the spiritual side and not so much about the technical and scientific side of the Schumann resonances. So there's a lot of questions that most people don't really know. They're not that informed about, like, spiritual stuff, but I know. I've been there. I'm from there, from where we're going. I'm from there. So I'm able to answer a lot of questions. And a few of them were one of the questions was what happens, essentially what happens after I die, this and that, So, and so I've answered a few of those questions. And I will say this, my people that I identify with are the ones who have failed at suicide. That's how I know you're not a regular human. Just put it that way. If you tried to kill yourself a few times and it wasn't successful, and you're almost like it was never happened, or if you were, or perhaps you've been in an accident that should have killed you and it didn't, and you walked out off with a scratch, like, that is my people, because there is a strength that comes with the life force of the volunteers that doesn't come with the humans. I don't know how to explain it better than that, but this is part of one of the things that I have to explain to people, that there's a difference in the quality of the lights within a person in the human form. The life force, the spark of life, the personality of a person, different quality to the light depending on where your spiritual advancement is. I usually don't answer questions of what happens after death because it leads to an argument, and I only know for myself because I've asked for myself, and I know for myself the answers for myself. However, sometimes my guides tell me this is a case where you can be helpful, and I offer the information that I know. of what happens when someone passes on to the other side of that. Well, they're not going to heaven. They're going to return back to the earth sphere, maybe not as a human, incarnate as a human, but there'll be a spirit floating around somewhere. That's an easy enough part to wrap your head around. Not everyone understands that or wants to believe it, but that's kind of the general gist of it, that if you are a soul and you're here to help and you were a helper, you're going to be, coming back as a helper, but probably as a spirit helper and not incarnated in the human body. I know that for myself. I know what happens. I have to lay out the map of what happens, and then the thing that happens after that, and the thing that happens after that, the great mystery. Well, it's not a mystery. I know how it ends. The mystery is how I make it through every day, day to day, and not be totally crazy, right? And want to be here and want to be happy and want to be grateful. That's the great mystery to me, is how to be happy in the now. Eventually the end will get here. I know that, I can't hasten my own demise. That doesn't work. You can't shortchange death. You can't shortcut the process. You have to take the path. You have to take the right path, or the other path is just going to be longer. The spiritual principle. So, as I stayed out in the tent in the woods, communing with nature, being at one in my heart space with the trees, it became more clear that, you got to go back in and give people the good news. So, when I came back in from the cold, July, August, September, and I'm back on Facebook. I'm writing. I'm watching videos on YouTube, and I'm kind of becoming part of this ascension community. But it's it's just I'm interested in the spiritual development aspect, not the grandiose aspect of the 5D and all of this glamorous type of rhetoric that people use. I'm interested in the clearing part. For me personally, I'm interested in helping people get through the toughest densities, because it's not until you get through the toughest cleaning that the space is available for the light to come in. That's one of the things that's really important for people to remember and to understand, that you can't you can't spiritually outgrow your garbage that you're holding on to. You have to clear it out somehow, get rid of it, bring it out into the light of the day. That's usually how most of the garbage we hold on to is able to clear out, is through the light of day, literally through the UV light of the sun, but literally, but also figuratively, of talking with people and getting it out, and so that people can help you work through the accumulated garbage. And so, if you are familiar with this community, if you've read the posts, gone on Facebook and heard about any of this ascension stuff and all this stuff that's automatically related to the Schumann resonances, and you have the mind to know what it's about, you start recognizing and seeing there's a lot of garbage that's in there, and not true stuff that has been oystered. Yes, it's the shell game, the shuck and jive, the 3-card Monty. Been sold a used bill of goods. It's not correct and not proper for what ascension really truly is. And so it's important for people to start getting the true understanding and the true teaching of the way, of, the most important way, like, sure, there's many paths to the top, but you don't get any elevation until the ballast is cleared in all of those pathways. So no matter which your chosen pathway, you're not getting any elevation until you get rid of the sandbag, the ballast, the most dense emotions that are holding a person back from growth. And that growth is ascension, eventually whenever you get there, but just being happy in the now, with the now, being comfortable in my own skin with the now is growth. And there's an immense power in the now if one focuses on that. And I'm trying to think of the better way to put it, but if you are able to clear out, the mind from all of the distractions, all of the stuff of the ego, all the stuff of your day, other people's stuff, other people's ego, your challenging ego, whatever you have. If a person gets clears that, gets rid of that out of their core, you bring it out into the light, then that's when that ballast is removed and you get elevation, right? It just naturally happens. Once you clear out the lowest of the low, once you clear out your ballast, you naturally get elevation. You don't have to work for that. The work is getting rid of the ballast and being in the power of the now. That's simple. It really is that simple. Now, what's simple is getting into the power of the now, picking up all of everything that it takes, like a motorcycle. Once it's up, it's not that heavy, but if once it starts tipping, that's the point where it starts getting heavy. And so that's where we look at this, in our growth, as I'm telling people this on Facebook and wherever else, like that's the basis of growth is you need to clear out the lowest ballast, clear out the lowest resonances of all of the lowest ballasts that you have accumulated in your heart, your soul, your body, your spirit. Right? And so once that's clear, then there's room for the good stuff to come in. So this is where I was talking with people, the type of stuff I was talking about on Facebook and wherever. So my guides tell me at that point that you need to start doing some video. And it was basically New Year. My deadline for these videos was basically, it was January 1st, 2020. So in July, August, there was that deadline looming ahead, 2020. 2020, the year we all see things clearly. So I was told that I needed to have a channel up and running, with this type of stuff by January. So by January, I had a few videos on. There was the one on dimensions, and there was some other stuff, and so it was up and running. So I had done some videos. I had a bunch of material that was all ready to go in 2019, so that beginning of 2020, I can just start doing some videos. I got all the material written, hundreds of pages of stuff written, that was going to go out, or potentially written. Say that. Notes, handwritten notes, but then I had to enter it into, some stuff I haven't even put in typeset. It's still handwritten notes, for what it's worth. So, January 2020, I was told that I needed to start working on a video channel, right? Dedicated to spiritual growth of people. The name would come later. I just left it as Vert Green. And so that was what my side project was in 2020, just making videos. And my guides had told me that you start out small, making videos there was some videos on mullein, some videos on flowers, and all this other stuff. So start small, make small videos, 10, 15-minute videos, just to get used to being on camera. It's not like I hadn't been on camera before, but being the star of the show is different than just being, a madcap in someone else's, production. So 2020, the beginning of 2020, was when I started making the videos for the channel, but I was not at that point dedicated to Schumann resonances, even though I had been November, December November, December of that year, I had started doing research, scientific research on the Schumann resonances. Okay. So again, November 2019 is when I really started kind of looking specifically into just the Schumann resonances and getting a lot of information on just that. So by April of, so 4 months later, right, I wind up being the expert on the Schumann resonances because I put so much work into learning about the Schumann resonances. And I'm only maybe half of the point that I'm at now. I'll just say that. Right. So there's a bunch of things that I hadn't quite worked out, but I had basically the nuts and bolts of it figured out. The range that it is, like amplitude, what that is, quality, frequency. I had all that. The frequency was the last piece of it. But the rest of it, the amplitude and the quality, was easier to wrap my head around. Once I saw the antenna and once I knew what the antennas are measuring, then it just the rest of it all fell into place. Like antennas filtering the analog, chain. So like 3.5, 4 months into it, when I learned all the antenna stuff, I got it down. That's my area. I'm familiar with antennas. I know how to use those. I know how to, pick up signals. I recognize this stuff now. I recognize Schumann resonances as radio waves, radio frequency waves. Okay, I got this. So April, I think it was March or April. I believe it might have been March of 2020 or 2020. Wages World had been he had been talking about the Schumann resonances for a while, and I had been, tuned into his show. And I had been doing more research, like I said. I'm constantly researching. So I'm following along with him, and as he's bringing up stuff in his program, I do research. Like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. Let me just look into that. And I find out what could be giving the 17 hertz line, what could possibly give you a 25 hertz line. That's my microphone, thank you. A 25 hertz line, and these kind of things. And I do research on locally. Tom's can find out they have, electric trains running over there that could probably at 25 hertz frequency and blah, 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 blah. So I had sent out, regularly, I would post comments to Wages World and, specifically, and hey, when you said this and that, my research says this and that, consider that. So one of the what put me on the map with doing the Schumann resonances is one comment I had made. I made a bunch of comments, but the one that I made was I had talked about there was a line at Kumiania. It shows a 50 hertz. And so I had said, remember, you see the 50 hertz line at Kumiania, and that's of the power, the local power. And they tell you that right there, right there in their thing. They don't hide this. You get a 50 hertz line from the local power supply. Here in America, it's 60, but over there in Europe, it's 50 hertz AC. So based on that comment, he was like, you're right. He like, yeah, he knew, he at least knew enough about that. We talked about that. And so then he finds out I have a channel dedicated to the Schumann resonances. So in April, he had made, actually, hold on, let me say this. So it was like July, I think, when he had gone over. So he had somewhere around, I'm pretty sure it was like the end of June or July, the end of June of 2020, he had read my comment. But by that point, I had already put up some videos. So I had already posted some videos on YouTube about the Schumann resonances. And I had actually changed my name to the Schumann resonances, to what it is now. So I think it was like April, May. I think it was like May. I actually officially changed my channel to the name of the Schumann resonances. And then it was like a month after that, the Wages World gave me a shout out. So I had been instructed, like I said, the beginning of the year, start videos. So somewhere around April or May, I had a couple videos on, very simple videos, right? But they were the basics of, and at that point, I wanted to keep them 10 to 15 minutes in length. Do a bunch of 10 to 15-minute length videos. It turns out that the phone I was using, my Samsung, was able to record up to half an hour. I'm like, all right, so then 33-minute videos. So I did a bunch of 33-minute videos, all right. So, but it was important. I knew at some point, if my guides had told me, you need to have videos ready, you need to have your channel, like in February, I think they had started telling me, do some stuff on Schumann resonances, because Wages World had said the person who knows about the Schumann resonances is going to be able to, like, basically write a check, write your own check. The person that knows about the Schumann resonances is going to be at the middle of a lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff figures in there somewhere. Sun, and if you followed my channel enough, a lot of stuff figures into the Schumann resonances. It's more simple than people say it is, and it's also more complicated than people say it is. Either or. Um, so, April, the time kind of ran, just kind of moved along. And so, I did what I was told, did some videos on Schumann resonances, short, sweet, to the point. There's more that was going to be planned. Wages reads my comment, goes over, sees I have material there, gives me a shout out. Then instantly, that one shout out, that one program, in an hour, I had 300 subscribers. In another hour, I had 700 subscribers. Within a day, I have 1.7 subs, 1.7K subs. So overnight, or it was like 7.2. That's what it was. So I had over 1,000 overnight. Same thing with Tommy, same thing with Mark Pyre. They leveled up rather quickly. And I knew it was going to happen. When someone with 46,000 subs sends you over, he'll have 300 people in one chat. And like they all went over, and there you go. And then the next day when people saw that, there you go. So, Wages, I give a great thank you to. He put me on the map, basically. I hadn't been intended to be on the map or to have close to 1,000. I had 45 or 48 subs when he found me, and in an hour I had 348. And so that really just put me on the map. I was not expecting it, but my guide said, you got to be ready. You have stuff that people need to hear. And the way it works is, if you do your part, you do your job, you follow the pathway, you do what you're told, when it's time, you'll be ready. But if you say, nah, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do it, nah, someone else will do it. When it's time, if you're not ready, the boat's leaving without you. And there may be another boat behind it, but there may not be another boat. And if that boat that was meant for you misses you, there's probably not another boat. Say that. Other things can happen, there's other ways and things, but you got to get it the first time, really. There are things that you can't wait. You have to just do it. You can't let yourself talk yourself out of it, or let yourself tell yourself something else, or confuse yourself, or say, no, it's not, I don't know, I'm not ready, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not. No, no, the voice is telling you now. Don't wait till you're ready. Don't wait till you save up enough money. Don't wait till no, just do it now. If the voice is telling you, do it now, do it now. Start on it. You don't have to finish it. That's not the place for you to figure it all out. No, you just start moving on it. Just start moving on it. And all I needed was the one video ready, so that when he came over there, you see the name of the channel, Verdi Arbusto Schumann Resonance Harmonics, right? Oh, what is this? You go there, you click, you see a video. Just one video was all I needed, but I had 3. They're not the best, but, kind of cardboardy, whatever, but they're there. They're there. They weren't in the best format, but they were there. They were done. That's what I present to you. That's what I represent here to you, is that if your guides telling you to do something, to be ready, to have something, to go get a training, to get a certificate, to invest in something, whatever. And I'm not talking about other people. I'm not talking about what you might believe your guides are telling you through another person. No. In your heart of heart, you know. So that is what you listen to, and other people will give you the verification. Or maybe if you follow tarot cards, you'll get the verification and the validation in that. Or maybe, oh good golly, maybe something will fall right from the sky right in front of you. That happens. Things will literally fall out of the sky if it's what you're supposed to do or where you're supposed to be. And there won't be any question in your mind of whether or not it's for you or if it's meaningless or whatever, because it may even say your name right on it. Maybe your name is kind of popular and other people have that name or whatever, or maybe it'll be a specific name of something you need to something or whatever. This is how it happens. This is how it happens. And so you have to be observant to what that voice is telling you, and you need to just be present and just start the work. You can do it grumbling. You can do it maybe dragging your feet, but just start. Just start. You don't have to be happy about it. You don't got to be grateful or wonderful about it. You just got to do it. That's all. And I can guarantee you, if you go out with that in mind, with that intention of starting and doing your mission, doing your job, you will be met on the pathway. I will give you the absolute assurance that if you just go out and start, it'll be there. It will be there for you. And so that not only am I saying that to you as the formula of what's worked, but I say that going forward as well, that it's still not decided. And that's where I'm at right now. And that's where subject of the video is talking about, the lifeboat, my lifeboat. So the middle of 2020, as the conditions here at the job are just getting worse and worse, my coworker is sick, I got to fill in for him. I started out doing the landscaping, which I loved, and then it started digressing to not landscaping. So that was where I'm at with that. That at a certain point where my coworker got sick and he's now not able to do his work, that's at the point where I need to start considering. And my guides said, you need a lifeboat. Basically, that was essentially what they said. So that was at the middle of the year. All right, so I've talked a bunch. I think it's time to put on some music, and I think I'm gonna, there's a little more to this about the lifeboat, but I think I'm at a good stopping point, I think, here, because I've introduced what the lifeboat is. And this is relevant to the working condition for the property management company, right? My day job, essentially, the job that puts a roof over my head. So I haven't taken a break in a while. I think now is a good time to put some music on. See what we got. So this will give me an opportunity to get some coffee maybe, or get something to eat. I'm at the 2.5 hour mark, and we're going strong on this. So get a coffee, get some popcorn, do whatever you got to do. I don't know, I'm going to play like 5-10 minutes of music, and I will meet you on the other side. Just because we both need a break, I think. So meet you on the other side.
54 is probably the Mount Olympus of the disco world. The people who set the style for disco really start all their numbers here at Studio 54. Right now it is the center of the universe for those who dance to 125 beats a minute. People behind me are waiting to get into 54. Some of them have been waiting for hours. Some will wait nearly all night. You see, it's worth it to them.
Okay, we're back. Nice. All right. Onward and upward. Okay, so where I'm at in the narrative is explaining my own lifeboat. Um, so essentially, in the middle of last year, my guides said, or it seemed to be around the same time, in 2019 as was in 2020, around the middle of the year. Um, they said to me that you need to have a lifeboat ready. Like, what does that mean? We're going to be flooding? Like, no, I knew what it meant. The channel. My lifeboat is the way off of the island, if you will. Um, the island of misfit property managers, if I could go there. Um, I can't, I won't speak ill of the company that I work for. But like I said, the the situation at the job changed. Things had just changed in a direction that wasn't good for me. Um, and by that, I by that, I mean I have to pick up more hours doing work I'm not really suited for, I'm not qualified for. I'm not getting a differential in pay. I'm not getting any kind of preferential treatment or, you know, co- commensurate with that in the living situation. And my living quarters are, I'll just say, substandard. They're provided for by the company, but they are substandard. I don't want to say more than that, but it was becoming obvious to me that there needed to be something else that I would be working on or working toward that would take the place of my first job. And I can't I can't work what I need to at a regular job to pay for a regular apartment. And so this starts getting into issues of what am I going to do if I'm not working for this woman and having her put a roof over my head. At this point, the discussion becomes I need to go out on my own and get a mobile home. Essentially, I need to find another place to live, and I don't want to live in an apartment. I just don't want to live in an apartment. I want to live as a nomad, essentially. So my lifeboat is a mobile home where I can live and do the Schumann resonances, essentially, So that's the point I'm at in this, that I need to step up my fundraising for myself, put the donation bin out there, and talk people up about my value and why it's important for you to support me. And so it's part of what this video is and part of what the explanation of the lifeboat is. And I've been talking about this on the video. I've made some videos about this of me changing the protocol of what I'm doing and not spending so much time doing free videos on YouTube, but using YouTube as a hosting platform and providing the access point to Patreon or my website or somewhere where, I can get people to support me so that I'm not living in substandard conditions for a woman who's expecting, or a person who's expecting more of me than I can deliver. I am 53 years of age now, and I am too old to be a maintenance person. It's not my job. I've done that. I have paid my dues doing that. But if I'm going to be working for this company, that's more of what I'm expected to do is do the work for the person who's physically unable to do it for himself. He really needs to hire someone. And so this is me publicly presenting myself, my lifeboat, that I need support from my people, from my family. And I can't do this without you. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. I am not able to keep doing Schumann resonances without your support. That's simple. And so it's nice that everyone wants me to, do a daily update and they want me to do this, but it, I have to work at crappy conditions for a company that is basically taking my soul. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm done here on the planet. I've seen enough. I personally don't need to be here anymore. I've done my contract. I've done my job. I've given enough Schumer residences. There's nothing more that I can do. Right? I've given you everything. There isn't anything more I can do. However, if you like me, if you want me here in this forum, I need your support. It's just that simple. Every dollar you put in the bin for me keeps me an hour from having to work for this woman. Right? And that's where it's at. I need help from you guys. I need help. Like, this is my life boat. This is what my guides told me that where I should be. This is what I need to do. And I'm I am learning. I've done a lot of writing about the Schumer resonances, just of what I've learned. And I've done that just for the love of it. I don't need to make that public to anyone to get anyone's input on it, right? I go to God. I go to my spirit guides. I go to my teammates back home in 12D, 12th density dimension, or dimensional density, three dimensions of 3 dimensions by 4 densities, or 4 dimensions by three densities, whichever you want, it equals 12D. I go to my guides back home. They tell me everything I need to know. Humans don't have anything they can provide. You got to research. All right, I'll talk to the experts, but they're not talking back. They're not responding to my emails. They're not responding to requests no, it's a closed loop. So to get the information, right, it's not a problem. It's out there, but no one has time. I have time. I have time to dedicate it to that. And I love doing that. I don't need to put my stuff out there it's not peer reviewed. I'm doing this for the love of doing it. Right? That's why I started the Schumer Resonances as such, because I wanted to know what that was for the sake of knowing what it was. And now I know. And it's fascinating. It's interesting. And I've studied a long time on this, and I have written it out publicly for everyone, for you all to see. I've done my due diligence on that, and I've given you more than you actually can read. Right? It's when you get into what's really the hardcore technical stuff, it's beyond most people. And that's why the majority of folks who are in the Schumer resonances invent stuff, make it up, because it's easier to wrap your head around stuff you made up or someone else made up that they can talk you into it. Right? You don't have to know technically how anything works, how any of that is. So that's part of what the problem is of you getting the information, is where you're getting it from, who you're getting it from, and what's their agenda. Are they giving this to you just because they like to know how it works, just because they know how it works and want to share it? They're great love with you. That's why I'm doing this, and it doesn't pay. And so me just doing it to share it with you, isn't, I don't get supported that way, but what I provided is still there. I'm not taking anything down. You have all the information that you need. So largely, this is why I'm moving a lot of stuff over to Patreon, because that's what pays. And the only way people can really monetize, that can make the ends meet, is by Patreon, PayPal, these kind of things. So please dig deep. I appreciate everyone here. I appreciate your comments, your love, your support. I need that as well. I've been depending on that for the year plus. I've been doing the Schumer resonances, but it's time that the things are changing. Things are shifting, and so I need a mobile home. I need to be out of here. I need to be out of this place here soon, and it's just that simple. And I can't do this myself. So, thank you all for your love and your support. That's what this is supposed to be for all of us, the lifeboat. And if I'm not here doing this, then what is that going to mean to you? Right? I mean, I can believe that I have nothing valuable to give you. Right? I can believe that of myself. I get nothing to share. I get nothing to, right? I can believe that. Right? I know I'm brilliant. I know I'm a fucking genius. Right? I don't need other people to tell me that. Right? I can live in a tent in the woods. However, if I got to live with other people, need more than just thanks. It's sad but true. So we are in the process of shifting gears, and we're going to be doing some interesting stuff with some other people on the channel so that we can start reaching a broader audience and get our name out there and, get popular. And so I can get my mobile home so I can leave this place. I need to leave this place, and that's what doing the Schumann resonance, the channel dedicated to atmospheric electromagnetics and the Schumann resonance is for, because I have no desire to live here anymore. I mean, just period. On this planet here, doing this job, working for this woman, working with a coworker who's pushing the work on me, and all the other stuff that comes with it, and all of it. I have zero desire to 0.02% is my desire to be here. I know what it's like afterwards. We've been there. I don't fear the next step, so either or. If you like me, either you can wish me well, bye, go home soon, or you can support me. Either or, about the same to me either way. Wish me well, or put a buck in the bin. Times are changing, and I'm not always going to be this way. So that's essentially the so on the material. So I didn't choose to name mine the Lifeboat, but that would have been a good name for my channel, because doing this is like a lifeboat. Right? This kind of has saved my life, and it's allowed me to meet some people that are very special that I would like to spend some time with, if possible. And your support will help with that. Transportation costs to go see family, the adopted family that I would like to see. So the Lifeboat it's a good name. It's symbolic and it's suitable for Tommy. He should have that. But I just thought I wanted to share, and I also wanted to share, about a little bit about my drinking experience and coming in, early, or when I had come in, early, and had started working at the bar, because I was really instrumental and implemental in my growth as a person, as a, human being. It was largely due to Mikey, who was always supportive of me not drinking in the bar. He saw me, he knew, so no one ever gave me a hard time at the bar, except the drunken manager one occasion on like New Year's and whatever. I'm not going to go into that, but largely speaking, no one gave me a hard time about not drinking and working at a bar. There's our bartenders that don't drink. There's people that work at a bar that don't drink. It's a good place to not drink and work. A bar is a good place to not drink and work. It's not a great place to work. It's just a great place to not drink and work. There's a difference. All right. So onward and upward. Okay. So that was my fundraiser for the video. My birthday fundraiser. Free to help me get my mobile home. That would be a great birthday present. Getting out of here, that would be awesome. I explained about the my lifeboat, and what that meant. But I also want to kind of, I don't know if I made this point clear, that even though the name went to Schumann Resonance Harmonics, what would have been my channel, I wouldn't have named it the Lifeboat, but would have, theoretically what my version of the Lifeboat is, the spiritual growth, these are things that I have learned through going to meetings, that I've learned through having a sponsor, that I've learned through, obviously meditating, not just meditating, but also working in the program, with people. I think it's important to mention that, how do I say this? There's an important spiritual principle. I want to say this. People know that I'm in tune with this, and like I said, it's important for me to give these principles forth so that I can learn, but so that you can learn. There's a lot of growth and things that are revealed, downloaded, revealed, made clear during meditation. I accept them, I understand them, I internalize them, I got it, I act in a certain way because I know in myself what the principle is. Things that are revealed to me, I know them. I know them myself. I don't need to. It doesn't have to be that clear, like language wise, linguistically, uh, word wise. I don't have to have a clear idea of the words. I just do it. Things are revealed, and a lot of times they're revealed in pictures or symbols or something, or they're just a knowing that, oh, I need to do this, and you don't really know why. All right. I think in spiritual growth, there's a lot of things that we just become revealed to us that we don't really know why, but we just feel it's the right thing to do. And it winds up being the right thing. We don't think about it. We don't have to talk about it. However, and that's fine. That's one level of spiritual growth. However, what happens is that as you level up, as you grow, a person grows, and others come to you, and we're inclined to help them, those things that were revealed to us as being just evident, we need to explain it to other people in a way that they can understand. And so this involves a dialogue. And so now the thing that was kind of nebulous, I didn't need to know the details or whatever. When people ask about it, then you have to give the details and start explaining why or how, or, especially how it works. How did I get the result that I got? What did I do? So this is what's important in this pursuit, is that when it's not just that things are revealed for me and I do it, like that's fine, that's great. That's, that could be, well, that could be where it ends, and it's fine. However, if you have a lot of friends, or if you like me, I'm out there, you're on video, whatever, and people start asking you, how does this work? That becomes a different matter. So if you're the person that had this revealed and it's changed your life, and you want to explain it to someone how it works, or how they can do it, or how they can get it into their lives or whatever, and you try and explain it to people, that's when you need to make logical sense of it so that you can express that logically. There are a lot of principles that people have, or things that have been developed that, it's difficult to convey. People will say that, well, it's hard to explain, I'll do my best. That's a truth. That is one of the things that happens with a revelation, that you can't actually explain it thoroughly or logically to people. Like, for example, if you're trying to explain a miracle to people, how to make miracles happen, there's a part of the language that can get in the way. And if someone doesn't believe in miracles, no matter what you tell them, they're not going to be able to take in new information. So part of what we try to convey, is not through words, but it's through an intention that goes before what you're looking to do. That's hard to explain to someone about intention, right? But it's just a force, a cause, the thought space. It's a dimension that exists that you can't say intention and just have someone have a picture of what that is. And there's a lot of spiritual principles that are like that don't respond well to talking or to verbal speaking in a logical manner. So this is the direction, this is where I'm heading toward in the rest of the material, is the difference between talking and sharing, between speaking and, you know, communicating. There's another word I'm looking for. Resonating. That's the word. You know, the difference between talking and speaking as opposed to sharing and resonating with someone. And frequently, the logical mind will prevent someone from sharing and bringing that from the heart. So, this is a good place to play some music. I'm almost at the 2 hour mark. This has gone a bit longer than I had intended, but that's okay. Oh, okay. Sometimes tough to figure out what to do. All right. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to it's like 2:30 in the morning here, and I really need to stop talking because I think the people upstairs are, you know, gotta sleep, and I don't know if, you know, it's 2:30 in the morning. I really gotta stop. Even though I'm not talking loudly, I really gotta stop. All right. So I'm gonna play some music, and then I'm gonna pause for the night, and then come back in the morning, and hopefully I'll remember where I was. At any rate, it'll be like all the rest of them if I don't figure it out, and it'll just be a little disjointed. At any rate, here we go for music. All right, there's something there. All right, so I'm gonna play some music, fade it out, and then I'll, you know, I'm gonna cut for the night, and I'll see you tomorrow.